Some folks drift through their days like a ship without a rudder, tossed about by the currents of expectation, by the whispers of what they be. Most people live their lives by default, not design. They follow inherited values, play it safe, and wonder why they feel empty. They collect the trinkets society tells them are valuable, climb the ladders placed before them, and yet, a quiet hollowness often echoes in the chambers of their hearts. It's a common story, one written on countless faces you pass on the street. But what if you discovered a radical set of truths that flips modern life on its head and gives you real power? What if the map you've been given is not the only map to the territory of a meaningful existence? This isn't self-help fluff, the kind that promises quick fixes and sunshine smiles without the storms. No, these are deeper currents, the kind that can reshape the very bedrock of your understanding. These 10 truths will challenge everything you've been told about meaning, strength, and what it means to truly live. Prepare yourself, because these aren't easy notions. They might stir something uncomfortable within you, a sense of dissonance with the comfortable narratives you've grown accustomed to. But discomfort, as we'll soon see, is often the first sign of growth, the cracking of a shell that has kept you confined. We're about to embark on a journey, a re-examination of the very pillars upon which we build our lives. And perhaps, just perhaps, you'll find a different way to navigate this world, a way that leads to a power and a purpose uniquely your own. Beneath all our strivings, desires, and ambitions, there flows a mighty river, the will to power. This power isn't about domination over others. It's the inherent urge within every living thing to grow, to expand, to express its fullest potential. Think of a seed pushing through dark earth towards the sun, or a river carving its path through stone. That relentless force, that striving to overcome resistance, to shape its environment, to become more, that's the will to power. It's the quiet hum beneath the noise of daily life, the engine that drives you to seek more than mere survival. You were born with this current running through your veins, an innate desire to expand your reach, your understanding, your very being. Consider the things people chase: money, status, romantic connection, even spiritual enlightenment. Dig deeper, past the superficial labels, and what do you find? Each is a means to an end, a way to feel a greater sense of agency, of impact, of aliveness. Money buys freedom, influence. Status grants recognition, a feeling of significance. Love makes us feel powerful in our capacity to connect and be valued. Spirituality seeks to transcend limitations, to touch a greater power. Recognizing this drive is the first step towards harnessing it constructively. Embrace it, understand it, and learn to wield it with purpose. We live in an age that worships at the altar of comfort. It's sold to us in 1,000 different forms: the softest couch, the instant gratification, the path of least resistance. Modern life, with all its conveniences, whispers a seductive lullaby. Stay here, where it's safe, where it's easy. But this relentless pursuit of comfort, this avoidance of all things difficult, is a trap. A gilded cage, perhaps, but a cage nonetheless. Because everything truly great, everything that holds lasting value, everything that forges a soul of substance requires a degree of discomfort. Growth, you see, doesn't happen in the stagnant pools of ease. It happens in the friction, in the wrestling with challenges that stretch you beyond your perceived limits. The path to meaning is rarely paved with velvet. More often, it's a rugged trail, demanding effort, resilience, and a willingness to endure. Want meaning? Get uncomfortable. We are taught from a young age about good and bad, about virtues and vices. These moral codes are presented as immutable truths handed down through generations, designed for the betterment of all. And indeed, some moral principles are essential for a society to function, to prevent chaos and harm. But it's also wise, sometimes, to pull back the curtain and examine who benefits most from the widespread acceptance of certain values. Consider many of the virtues often lauded: obedience, humility, the suppression of strong desires, even a certain kind of guilt that keeps us in check. Now, I'm not saying these are inherently wicked, but ask yourself, were these values primarily designed to empower the individual, to unleash their full potential? Or were they, in many historical contexts, tools for maintaining order, for ensuring that the flock stays within the fences, that the powerful remain unchallenged, and that the masses remain manageable. A populace that is deeply obedient is easy to govern. A people steeped in humility are less likely to question authority or strive for radical change. Individuals who are taught to feel guilty for their ambitions or their unique desires are less likely to disrupt the established order. This isn't a call for anarchy or a wholesale rejection of all societal norms, but it is a call for critical thinking, for a discerning eye when it comes to the values you internalize. True strength often lies in the courage to question, to define your own ethics based on reason, experience, and a deep understanding of your own nature. Think twice, and then think again before you call something virtuous merely out of habit or indoctrination. There's a fundamental choice each of us faces, though many are unaware they're even making it. It's the choice between being an architect of your own life, designing its very foundations, or being a mere tenant, living within a structure built by others. This choice boils down to values, the principles, beliefs, and priorities that guide your decisions and shape your existence. You either live by your own consciously chosen code, or you inevitably live by one handed down to you. Think about where your current values come from. For most, they are an inheritance, a collection of beliefs absorbed from parents, religion, schooling, the media, and the broader culture. There's nothing inherently wrong with this. It's how we learn to navigate the world initially. But a time must come when you examine this inheritance, when you sift through it, piece by piece, and decide what truly resonates with your deepest self, and what is simply borrowed clothing that no longer fits, or perhaps never did. If you don't undertake this critical examination, if you don't consciously forge your own set of values, you remain, in a sense, a passenger in your own life. You're operating on autopilot, guided by programs installed by others. This can lead to a sense of inner conflict, a feeling of being adrift, or a life that feels inauthentic, because the values you're living by are not truly your own. To create your own values is an act of profound self-authorship. It means asking yourself the hard questions. What do I truly believe is important? What kind of person do I want to be? What principles will guide my actions when faced with difficult choices? Create your own meaning, or you will forever be interpreting theirs. Imagine, if you will, a rather startling proposition. Suppose a demon were to creep into your loneliest loneliness and say to you, "This life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more, and there will be nothing new in it. But every pain and every joy and every thought and sigh and everything unutterably small or great in your life will have to return to you, all in the same succession and sequence." A chilling thought, perhaps, for some. This idea, the eternal recurrence of the same, is not just a philosophical fancy. It's a profound psychological test, a mirror held up to the very core of your existence. How would you react to such news? If the thought of reliving every moment of your current life exactly as it is, again and again for all eternity, fills you with dread, with a sense of horror or despair, then it's a stark indication that something is fundamentally misaligned. It suggests that you are not living in a way that you would affirm with your whole being. If you could embrace this eternal return, if you could say yes to your life in its entirety, repeated endlessly, then you are living with a profound sense of purpose and affirmation. This isn't about achieving a life of constant bliss, free from any hardship. It's about living a life so authentic, so aligned with your deepest values, so rich in meaning, that you would willingly choose it again, flaws and all. It's about transforming your perspective so that even the challenges, the suffering, the difficult moments are seen as integral parts of a whole that you would not wish to change, because they have forged you, taught you, and led you to where you are. So ask yourself this powerful question, not just once, but regularly. If the idea of an eternal encore of your current existence horrifies you, then you have work to do. There's a common misconception that we are at some point finished products, that our personalities, our capabilities, our very identities are set in stone, like a statue completed by a sculptor. We might say, "That's just the way I am," as if it's an unchangeable decree. But this is a limiting belief, a self-imposed prison that stifles growth and locks us into past versions of ourselves. The truth is far more dynamic, far more liberating. You are not a fixed entity. You are a process. You are in every moment. Think of yourself not as a noun, but as a verb, an ongoing act of creation. Every day, every experience, every choice you make is an opportunity to add a new stroke to the canvas of your being, to refine, to reshape, to outgrow who you were yesterday. There is no final draft of you until your very last breath. This understanding is incredibly empowering. It means that your past does not have to dictate your future. The person you are is forged in the present by the choices you make right now. Pain, suffering, adversity. These are experiences we instinctively recoil from. Words that conjure images of hardship and sorrow. Our natural inclination is to avoid them, to seek lives insulated from their harsh touch. We often view suffering as a punishment, a sign that we've done something wrong or that the universe is somehow unfair. But what if this perspective is incomplete? What if suffering, in its raw intensity, holds a different kind of potential? Consider this. Pain is often a profound teacher, a catalyst for transformation. It's in the crucible of suffering that resilience is forged, that character is deepened, that wisdom is often born. Every wound, every heartbreak, every significant loss carries within it the seeds of potential growth if we are willing to look for them. It's not the suffering itself that defines us, but how we respond to it, what we choose to make of it. You can alchemize your pain, transforming it into strength, into compassion, into art, into a deeper understanding of yourself and the human condition. This doesn't mean you should seek out pain or romanticize it. It means that when pain inevitably arrives, as it does for everyone, you don't have to be merely its victim. The choice is yours, to break from it or to build from it. Freedom. It's a word that rings with an almost sacred resonance. We all claim to desire it, to strive for it. But what kind of freedom are we truly talking about? Is it the freedom from external constraints, from oppression, from limitations imposed by others? Yes, that is a vital part of it. But there's another kind of freedom, an inner freedom, that is far more demanding and perhaps far more terrifying to many. True freedom, the kind that involves complete responsibility for your choices, your beliefs, your entire existence, that is a heavy burden. It means there are no excuses, no one else to blame when things go wrong. It means standing alone if necessary with your convictions. It means facing the abyss of infinite possibilities and choosing your own path without a pre-written script or a guaranteed outcome. This is why, if you look closely, you'll find that many people, while paying lip service to freedom, actually gravitate towards safety, towards structure, towards the comfort of rules and routines. They prefer the well-trodden path, the guidance of authority, the security of belonging to a group that tells them what to think and how to act. The cage of safety, with its predictable comforts and clearly defined boundaries, can feel more appealing than the vast, uncertain expanse of true freedom. But this safety comes at a price. The price of your own potential, your own unique voice, your own authentic life. The question is, are you willing to pay the price for such wings? Humans are driven by an innate urge to create. We build cities, compose symphonies, write novels, launch enterprises. We shape the world around us, leaving our mark in countless ways. This creative impulse is a powerful force, a testament to our capacity for imagination and ingenuity. We admire the grand structures, the intricate works of art, the sprawling empires built by human hands and minds, and yet, there is one creation that surpasses all others in its significance, in its potential for profound impact. You can build a business that changes an industry, an empire that spans continents, or a masterpiece of art that moves generations. These are worthy endeavors, to be sure, but the highest, most challenging, and ultimately most rewarding act of creation is the conscious and deliberate creation of the self. This isn't about who you in a passive sense, as if your identity is a fixed object you discover. It's about who you. It's about seeing yourself as a work in progress, a living sculpture that you are actively shaping day by day, choice by choice. It involves identifying the qualities you wish to embody, courage, wisdom, compassion, resilience, and then intentionally cultivating them within yourself. This process of self-creation is an art form in itself. In a world that often seems to demand conformity, that pressures us to seek approval and fit in, there's a powerful, counterintuitive truth. The relentless chase for external validation, for the applause of the crowd, often leads us further away from our own center, leaving us feeling hollow and inauthentic. We dilute ourselves, we wear masks, we contort our true nature in the hopes of being liked, accepted, or admired. But consider an alternative path. The path of building yourself in quiet dedication, even if it means walking alone for a time. This isn't about embracing isolation for its own sake, or cultivating a disdain for others. Rather, it's about prioritizing the development of your own inner substance, your own unwavering truth, above the fleeting opinions of the gallery. It's about focusing your energy inward, on becoming so rooted in your own being, so aligned with your own values, that your presence itself becomes a force. When you dedicate yourself to this inner work, to understanding yourself, to cultivating your strengths, to living with integrity, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop needing to chase. You stop needing to perform for approval. Instead, you begin to develop a kind of spiritual gravity, an authentic presence that naturally draws the right people and opportunities towards you. Your genuineness becomes a magnet. This doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, perseverance, and the courage to withstand periods of solitude or misunderstanding. If these ideas, these 10 truths, have struck a chord within you, perhaps like a sudden, unexpected punch in the chest, know that you're not alone in this awakening. These are not new whispers, but ancient echoes. Over 100 years ago, a man, a philosopher of profound and often unsettling insight, wrote a book so ahead of its time, its words still shock, challenge, and inspire those who dare to engage with them. His name? Friedrich Nietzsche. And the book, his most poetic and enigmatic work, is Thus Spoke Zarathustra. It's not a simple read, I'll grant you that. It doesn't offer easy answers or comforting platitudes. It's a journey through mountain peaks and shadowed valleys, written in a style that is at once lyrical, chaotic, and full of paradox. It demands much from its reader, but it offers even more in return. But if you find yourself on a path to becoming your truest, most powerful self, if the ideas of self-overcoming, of creating your own values, of affirming life in its totality resonate deep within your soul, then I urge you, read it, grapple with it, allow its challenging wisdom to seep into your consciousness. Because once you begin to truly understand the concept of the will to power, not as domination, but as the creative life force itself, you'll never see your life or the world in the